All right. I like how everybody quiets down when they know it's 6:30, and that's when we said things were going to start. Well, welcome. So, welcome everybody to a very special day in Waupaca. And we want to first, of course, start with the grand opening or the open house for our public works facilities. I know Justin is going to talk a lot about that, and I'll allow him to do that too in just a few minutes here. But it has been a long time coming, and it's an incredible building, as most of you have probably seen as you've gone through there. But we've made this into even more of a special night because we're not only recognizing the Public Works facility, but we're recognizing all the improvements that have been made at Lakemen Field. And then we're also honoring two very special people in our community over the years. And that would be Leroy Haberkorn and also John Krakowitz. So with that, I'm just let me introduce the people that helped us to make sure that we were able to get these facilities, and obviously the taxpayers of the city of Waupaca trusted us to be able to put up a facility like this, knowing that this is something that was needed and is actually going to be a very, very valuable asset to us for many years. But I do want to introduce some of our city council members that are here tonight, and I know that I see Colin Dykstra right over here, Scott Prochatsky, and Dave Peterson, I think, are the only three that are.
Henry.
Oh, I'm sorry, and Henry Veliker. Sorry, Henry, right in front of me again. All right, any other of the city council members? I'm sorry. All right, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to our Director of Public Works, Justin Behrens.
Thank you, Mayor. What an amazing turnout. In this site, basically this is just a true representation of community. And it's not just one moment or tonight. The history of this site goes back to 1930s. It's when the school district, the city, and many community members worked together for one common goal and a drive to make this area, this tract of land, its first athletic complex for the Waupaca area. And it wasn't just one moment like tonight. It wasn't one action. It wasn't one signature. It was year after year, thousands of people working together to make this what it is today. So of course there was a football field here, Haberkorn Field. There was a track, was cinders at one time, eventually became asphalt. There was a grandstand. There was a bathroom here. There was a softball field, tennis courts, basketball courts, and of course Lakemen Field over there. And now we have a new public facility here as well. I'm extremely proud and humbled to be a part of all this. Just one of the many people having the honor to work with so many greats that this community has here with us today, celebrating and those of the past. This is much different than what many of us know of this site. It's near and dear in our hearts, remembering Friday Night Lights, the dark green grass, the blue and white backdrop, and this is way different. With a few exceptions. We still kept the blue and white. But we still will maintain the commitment to our community and drive and working with people now into the future to make Waupaca a great place. And again, all the community members that were involved with this, the one that we would like to recognize here tonight that couldn't be with us, watching from above, and then one more who couldn't make it. But Aaron's going to talk more about them.
All right, everyone. Thank you for coming. You guys are all beautiful people, but I'm not going to have as good eye contact as Justin did. I'm going to have to read a little bit. First of all, thanks. I would like to congratulate City Council, Justin, the entire Public Works crew. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Roger Hansen, who's been a part of the conversations of this facility for a long, long time, 20 plus years, and it finally happened. Certainly has improved our efficiencies, functionalities. It's an awesome, awesome facility. So great job, guys, and all the planning and execution with that. I also want to thank, of course, City Council and Mayor Smith for making it a possibility. And I also want to thank Mayor Smith for why we're here today. So a lot, like Justin mentioned, this facility, this site was something very different than it is today, and a lot of us have a lot of memories here, and there's been a lot of conversation over a lot of years on how do we make sure that we don't forget what that was. And several months ago, Mayor Smith said, well, what about renaming a couple streets? We're like, well, okay, like tell me a little more about that. And he said, well, I think it'd be pretty cool if it was on the corner of Haberkorn and Koronk Way. And those conversations continued, and here we are today celebrating those two individuals. Today, we gather to honor these two remarkable individuals whose dedication and contributions have left an indelible mark on our community. It is with great pride that we celebrate Coach John Kronkwitz, or Koronk, and Leroy Haberkorn, or Hobby, as he's known by naming these streets in their honor. During their time in Waupaca, both Coach Koronk and Hobby have been a beacon of inspiration, guidance, and unwavering commitment. For years, they helped shape the lives of countless young student athletes, instilling in them values of hard work, perseverance, and teamwork, or should I say attitude, character, enthusiasm, and team, which were the pillars that Coach Koronk built his program upon for many years. Their passion for coaching extended far beyond the field. They both truly love this community and desire to see every individual reach their full potential. Speaking of passion, I really want to encourage anyone who passion for the community, go read the thing that Justin put together. There's a great historical account of Leroy Haberkorn. Leroy was much before my time. I had always heard Coach Koronk talk about him, but I didn't know a ton about him and what he was involved in. And it is incredible. I don't know how the man slept after reading that. So go take a look if you haven't had a chance already. Justin did a great job with that piece. Speaking of passion that extended far beyond the field, let's talk a little bit about Coach Koronk. It's easy to talk about Coach Koronk and his ridiculous accomplishments. Those accomplishments such as 582 combined wins in baseball and football, 40 total years in coaching, 32 years as a football coach. His teams won 22 conference football titles, and at one point strung together 13 conference championships in a row. They would have had 14 and 15, but I heard that they had poor quarterback play for those years. Also had 5 state championships appearances and 2 state titles. On the baseball diamond, he had 316 wins, 6 baseball conference championships, and in his last 12 years, he had 6 baseball conference championships. And then he ended with 1 baseball state championship, making him one of very, very few people, I don't know the number, but it's not many, that have both a WIA baseball state championship and a football championship. Coach Koronk was also inducted into the Wisconsin Football Coaching Association Hall of Fame, and as well as the National High School Athletic Coaches Hall of Fame. But to be honest, when asked what he enjoyed most about coaching, he won't mention anything about those successes or a specific championship, although I know he probably liked doing that too. A week ago, I actually asked Coach Koronk what he enjoyed most about coaching. His response was developing relationships with the kids. That may sound like a cliche answer, but I can assure you it is anything but. That was something that Coach Koronk, I feel, was better than anyone at. His athletes would run through an absolute wall for him, and all of them would, because they knew he cared more about them as young men than they did about what they could do for him on the field. Ask any of them, and he'll tell you he is the best motivator there is anywhere. One could make an argument that a coach building relationships could be considered transactional, as a coach with strong relationships leads to success on the field. You can't make that argument with Coach Koronk. When many of us find it difficult to make it across town for a graduation party that we're invited to, he finds reasons to make the 3.5-hour trip from Lake Geneva to graduation parties, to weddings, and unfortunately to an occasional funeral or two, from players that he coached a long time ago. Actually, just this last weekend, Coach Koronk and his wife Joanne made a 5-hour trip to the wedding of a player that he coached over a decade ago. He has taught thousands of young men, literally thousands, and truly the success is measured not just by his wins, but by he instilled character, the way you prepare, And he taught those to make sure that they had a positive impact on those around them. As we unveil the sign for Koronk Way in Haberkorn Court, we do more than just rename a road. We celebrate a legacy of excellence, lifetimes of service and mentorship, and a future that was made brighter by relentless commitment. May these streets stand as a permanent reminder of Leroy Haberkorn's and John Kronkiewicz' remarkable contributions and the lasting impacts they had on Waupaca. Koronk, I do remember you saying, I'll always remember this, hey, no matter how good things are going, when things are going good, people are going to make you think things are way better than they are. And when things are going bad, it's never as bad as you think it's going to be. Remember that tonight. No, I'm just kidding. No. It's all unbelievably deserved. Thank you, Koronk, for your extraordinary service and for having an incredible impact on so many people. We are truly lucky that you landed here in Waupaca. Thank you.
So that is our city administrator, Aaron Jensen. I'm the one that gets blamed for long city council meetings. So at this time, what we would like to do is ask John Kronkiewicz to come up here. We have a couple of presentations that we would like to make to him. And John, if you would. First of all, we have a duplicate of the street sign, Koronk Way. Oh, this is a duplicate of the street sign, which will be now Koronk Way. And then
Yours, man. Yeah.
it's yours to take. And then also a plaque that was put together. And this plaque will also be at City Hall, but we also wanted to make sure that Koronk was able to receive that too. After Koronk gets done speaking, we're going to unveil the street sign. So wait along for that and we'll go from there. But at this time, I'd like to really introduce the man of the day, and that's John Kronkiewicz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When I got here this morning, I began to realize that this was a much bigger deal than I thought it was going to be. And I'm sure as time goes on, I'll begin to believe it's an even bigger deal than it was this morning. I came to Waupaca in 1976. I was a recent graduate of UW Oshkosh. A week later, I married my girl, Joanne. For the next 40 years, we worked, we played, we raised a family here in Waupaca. I was lucky because I got to do the things I love to do, and that was teach and coach. I was fortunate to have been surrounded by a lot of good people. No one does anything by themselves. It takes a village. I was fortunate to teach thousands of kids and coach hundreds of young men. And I hope I was able to give them something. That was always my intent. Was to give them something. To have a street named after you is pretty awesome. And I have to admit, I kind of like the name Koronk Way. Because there is a Koronk Way. Work hard. Don't give in. Try to see the good in people. Be humble. Laugh when you can. Cry when you need to. This has been an awesome experience. You know, my life has been an awesome experience. I can never complain. I wasn't born here. This may not be my final resting place, but Waupaca will always be my home. Thanks.
Okay. All right, if you want to just turn around, and our street department, Roger Hansen, is going to hopefully pull this down. So, Roger, on 1, 3, 2, 1. Almost. There we go. Haberkorn Court on the top, and then Koronk way right below that. How cool is that? Yeah. All right. This actually ends the part of the festivities here, but don't forget tonight over at Lakemen Field, we're going to celebrate the improvements and the donations that we received in our community. And once you hear from our Parks and Rec director, the amount of donations that came in to improve that, you'll just be in awe there. And also, you're going to see a encore of Coach Kronkowitz over there. He's actually going to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. So don't miss out. Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for coming here. We'll see you over at the Lakemen Field.